was 5 when I started classical piano lessons. I did those for about 13 years. I have that whole classical base, which has kind of been a blessing and a curse, I'd say. It's definitely allowed me to explore things technically that I might not have been able to, without that training. But it also has been a test of my patience in terms of perfection. There have been a lot of things that have kind of tried to turn me off from music, and a lot of them being classical music. I think the ages 5 to probably 15 were the hardest. In classical training, there are certain methods that keep you kind of on the same line, on the same trajectory for a long time. And for someone like me, I like to express myself through my art, and so playing very classical, very Baroque, the more strict genres of classical felt very restricting. So for a lot of time, I didn't want to do it as a whole. I didn't want to do music. For a long time, I wanted to quit. I wanted to just have nothing to do with it. I went through probably 4 or 5 teachers, maybe more, throughout my whole time as a pianist. They all gave me that chance to explore. They kind of just were a vessel to let me discover my own passions and creativity with music. And so when I look back on my earlier years, my fondest memories are those times when a teacher would bring me a whole just book of songs and they'd say, pick one that you like the best. And just that feeling of like being able to pick something that felt good to me, that interested me, that piqued my interest, that was the best part. I started shifting from playing to writing freshman, sophomore year. I had been doing it kind of on and off, but the digital, the electronic, the really like the recording aspect of it, that started for me right at the beginning of high school. My friend Atticus, who produces music, he goes by the name Wayo. He started putting out music and writing music right around the same time. He was using GarageBand, he was, making like rap tracks and stuff and beats, and it was so cool to know somebody who was doing that kind of stuff, producing stuff that sounded like, wow, that's actually like good, I was making beats in my room, but they were all just like kind of silly, and then Atticus came in and he was making stuff that I listened to and I enjoyed it, I'll say that. My first full album that I released was a school project, Dire Situation. It was great, it was a lot of fun, but I came out of it kind of feeling like it wasn't authentic. I used a lot of samples in that, and I remember feeling afterwards like, man, I didn't actually write a lot of this music. Right after that, I turned around really fast and made a beat tape, Goodbye Flower Girl. It took me like a month and a half maybe to write, which is very short. Creativity-wise, I think I'm the most proud of that work. There's not a single sample on it, so I wrote everything myself. That, to this day, with everything else I've released, I think is my most authentic piece of work. The next two projects that I put out, Little Red Lights and Trip, those two I really harnessed that freedom of expression and just kind of going with whatever I was feeling in the moment. Those two, I think they fell a little bit short when it comes to authenticity. I did find that when I listen to them now, they feel a bit rushed. I was trying to express a lot of things, and I think I didn't really know half of them, or know that I was trying to express half of them. I really started to feel frustrated with how redundant my music was sounding and repetitive. I was starting to lose that authenticity. It was just kind of like cranking stuff out because I could. And I would go in and I would have this idea and have this feeling and want to express it, and then get lost in the snare sounds. And I wouldn't get out for 15 minutes, and by then it was gone. I started to realize that my creativity itself was kind of diminished. At that point, I would sit down at the guitar or the piano and nothing would come out. It was really frustrating. It was kind of like scary too. I was starting to worry that it was like gone, it had left me or whatever. Like my creativity I was losing it, losing steam. At that point, I just decided to close the computer, turn it off, unplug everything, take my acoustic guitar, bring it upstairs to the bedroom, and just only use that to write. I've been doing that for the past year and a half now. I just started to kind of touch my computer again and the programs I use. And it's fun, but I do feel every time I sit down, I feel that familiar feeling of like going down the rabbit hole. The main goal of it really was just to find my creativity again.
Threw it away last time. good after all. You're still my hard-earned, you're still my fault, you're still my best find, you're still my last call.
And now when I write music these days, it really feels very personal, very internal. It's all very vulnerable. That's great. I love that. I love vulnerability with music and art. But that vulnerability is sometimes hard to share with other people because it is just like opening up completely, right there, raw, in the moment. Here I am, this is me. Sometimes that can be kind of rough, you know? I'm not a perfect guy. I've got stuff internally that I deal with that is sometimes hard to think about. That's what my music is used for, is to get that out of me so that I can look at it again.
Take a picture in my mind, take me home and wave goodbye.
The word express means to push out or to expel. When I think of that in terms of emotions and internal turmoil, it's kind of gross, but I think of it like seeping out of pores, just like squeezing it out of you, getting it out so that you can look at it and it can be real. Because a lot of times when it's inside of you, you can't conceptualize it, and it's a lot easier to ignore it, deny it. But the second it's right there in your face on a piece of paper because you just wrote a song about it or you made a piece of art about it, you can't deny it anymore. And it's a really great way of just putting it right in your face and being like, yo, look, this is right here. Whether you like it or not, it's here. What are you gonna do about it?
Seem to tell if you think I'm worth it. I'm unguarded, you got me nervous.
So that, kind of in a nutshell, is why I do music.